Hello and welcome to the back nine of round one of the 2025 Waco Annual Charity Open. I tried not to read the whole thing. Yeah. Boy, that was hard. It is presented by Prodigy, our second stop on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. I'm Erika Stinchcomb.
I'm Madison Walker. We're your two hot geese, and we don't like small changes.
Honk. And the pinnacle of professionalism, as we like to say here in the booth.
Yeah.
We have a great feature card for you. Kristin Lätt popping off 4 down. I believe she's, in a tie for first there. Deann, Carey with some nice birdies in the woods and a tie for fourth. Emily Weatherman and Anniken Christensen. Wow. Steen. There we go. I can read. Both at +1. Anywhere around even is going to be decent on this course today. Hole 10, a par 4, 491 feet, a very, very scenic fairway. Love the grass and the woods. If you're in the middle, especially a little on this right side, I like the right a little bit better, or past the trees on the left, it's a short and gettable birdie. I would say most common mistake for the right-handed player is to kind of skip and fade into the woods on the left-hand side, leave yourself with a tough upshot. Controlling your speed is important on the green. It's a nice hard pan, as we've seen all day.
Let's check in with Henna Bloomroos off the tee, working that right side so nicely. And look at that distance, getting way down there. She'll just have a chip up to the green.
A little awkward without a forehand, though, pinned up on this tree.
Yeah, Henna, we don't see her throw the forehand very much, as you guys know.
Do we ever?
But she is, almost never. I think it is never. We'll go hard never.
Never, but probable stat.
But she's so good at these little patent pending backhands.
Henna in a tie for first right now. Gonna try to take the lead here with another birdie and her second turkey of the round.
Back to our feature card. Kristin Lätt off the tee first.
Pull just a bit to the right, but that is the better mistake to make. She can still get to the green from there, though it'll be tricky.
Sometimes we'll get a strange headwind ripping up this fairway, but today it was nice and calm, nothing to write home about. Even though this played as the easiest hole of the day, 38% of the field with birdies, 20 out of 52 competitors, I feel like I struggle with this one a little bit. You find yourself often landing way left and not really having a way to get to the green effectively. You kind of have to scramble your way out.
Or if you're just behind one of those center trees, like we just saw Emily hit, it can be kind of tough. That's a perfect place to land.
Kristin early in the fairway, right side, nice and open for her forehand. But the low ceiling forces her to put it a little nose down. She'll be, I think, right around the edge of circle 2.
Yeah. It is interesting because it says only 491, but it definitely feels a bit longer than that. The approach always feels like at least 200 feet, if not 250.
And this is one of the few wooded holes at the Beast where you pull out a distance driver off the tee.
Yeah, for sure. You got to open up a little bit. But I do think everyone in the field is thinking birdie on this one. Yeah. Everyone's attacking. Deann doing it really successfully.
Oh, yeah. Emily tricky. Not in a great spot. Going to try to throw a backhand flexing shot. Ooh.
Good move on it. Maybe just too stable of a disc, but I mean, she gets all the way down there, even near circle's edge, it looks like. Coming back uphill, though, for a birdie look. Anniken with a perfect drive, but kind of fluffs her upshot and gets a big skip outside the circle.
Kristin's third. She has to tango with that guardian tree. Gives it a good bid.
I thought she was going to do it. Her body language said that was in.
Emily, she is just exactly chain high every miss, but just a little right side. She wants it. Missing aggressively. Anniken going to have to settle for the par. You see a lot of crazy putts on this hole. Deann with a nice, close, wide open putt.
Yeah, Deann going to move to 3 down. And surprising to only see one birdie on our feature card here. Did you already say, sorry, how many people birdied?
20.
Yeah.
5 people parking the hole, 25 getting to circle 1 in regulation. About half the field.
Henna with the outright lead with that birdie we saw earlier, 5 down through 10.
Hole 11, another pretty straightforward par 3, but there is some technicality as you move towards the green. There's this one tree that you have to miss, and you can miss left side, but I think most players are erring right because the right side of the green is a little bit more friendly. The left side has that rooty, sloping hill, and if your disc finds an edge, you can go so deep into the woods where there is no way to get to the basket. You will see a lot of discs hyzering out at the very end and leaving some funky putts, but I like a flippy fairway driver or mid up this fairway. I think a forehand is great if you have the power, but it does push a little farther than that 279.
Yeah. Like you want a Ella Hansen straight pushing forehand. This is kind of the typical result of a forehand, and it can get you a putt, but it's difficult to park the hole. That was fantastic.
Yeah, one thing Kristin does well is even if it doesn't get there in the air, she has so much spin on the disc that it gets good ground play, so she does skip up the hill where we see a lot of discs just die.
I like the amount of turn Emily put on this. Wow. Is
crushed.
Going, super far. And I think she'll have a putt, though, likely obstructed. And I love this play.
Me too.
Almost. Just kind of throwing it at that gap and letting the ground help you get into the circle.
Deann trying to chip a little sidearm up to the green. Unfortunate little kick to the left. She's in circle 2 with a pretty tough putt.
Anniken patent pending in the woods. And that'll be fine, though. Trickier than it looks at 20 feet with that hill. Deann with kind of an unforced bogey here. That's a smart play from Emily. You can 3-putt in a hurry on this hole.
Kristin not gonna. Oh my
man.
goodness.
That looked good. Great par save from Anniken.
There were only 6 birdies on hole 11. Less than what I was expecting, but not super surprising.
Deann.
This green is rough.
Double bogey on the 11th. This green is rough.
Holland Hanley and Jessica Weiss parking the hole. I'm guessing with forehands.
Holland, forehand mid-range. The straightest, prettiest shot you've ever seen.
What?
Yeah, she put it to like 15 feet. It was gorgeous. Deann dropping off the pace with that double.
And Jessica moving up to a tie for first with Henna.
Hole 12, our second and final par 5 of the day, 609 feet. I like a forehand off the tee. Backhand can work. Land in the center, name of the game. You don't have to get crazy aggressive. You just need to not be in the rough. Second shot, you want to get as far down this tunnel as you can. If you do your job well, you can potentially attack for eagle, though it's usually a very tricky flexing shot going uphill. We don't see a ton of eagles, definitely possible. Birdie in play for everybody, but if you're in the rough at all, you can very suddenly be fighting for your life to get a par. This is looking good. You want kind of a sawed-off shape on the forehand. Like that.
And Kristin getting some really good distance as well. That's farther than a lot of forehand tee shots land. Emily trying to go for more of a backhand turnover, grip locks it a little bit, doesn't get the turn, and she's in an area that's tough to recover from.
Yeah, this is a terrifying right-hand backhand for me.
Yeah.
I went that way with a forehand accidentally too far straight. It's pretty bad. There are a couple of gaps, but that is a par at best from in there.
Deann with a pretty nice looking shot. It gets tangled up tangled up early. She's going to be playing for, I would say, par at best from there. It's really tough to recover a birdie.
Yeah, everyone really out of position except for Kristin. Emily pitching up, and looks like she'll have decent footing on her third shot.
And instantly fighting for her life for par,
Yeah.
as Erika said.
Deann actually could birdie if she gets aggressive here, and she tries to. That's a fortunate break to drop into the fairway.
It's nice to be left side. She can get really, really aggressive and go for the green.
Now I don't think it's worth it.
It's
if she
definitely
got,
not.
like 50 to 80 feet farther on that shot, then maybe.
Yep. Emily, unfortunately, bouncing into the edge of the fairway again. It's going to be tough to get up and over the hill to the green.
Yeah, you can see Anniken with nothing over there. Gonna leave herself a pretty pure hyzer.
Yeah, she pitches
Wait a
out.
second.
She pitches out a little further than she probably wanted.
Mm-hmm. But she's in decent shape as long as that stops rolling for a par here.
Yeah, really
the
nice
base of the hill.
positioning.
What do you think?
think
this
she's
is such
going
a
for it.
scary backhand.
She's going to send it. Yes, she is.
If you fade into that left side, it can be a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
I like a forehand up to the top.
And did we just, this is Kristen's drive? Holy moly.
That might be the farthest drive I've seen,
Yeah,
honestly.
Same.
Wow. She's up there in 2, and that was essentially a chip sidearm.
And I think she's in circle 2, right?
Looks like
Right on the
we're
edge?
very close.
Yeah.
Wow.
What
Ooh, okay, forehand.
Yeah, that was a nice forehand from a knee. Good power.
Deann still going backhand, looking to get this disc to turn and then maybe fade a little. Oh, too much
Whoa.
power. Wow, that really kept going. I don't think she'll have a look at the basket down that little path, but maybe.
After you crest this hill, you have what, 80 feet?
I always think that, but I think it's like more closer to 100. Like
Okay.
it's always a little bit farther than I think.
But Anniken navigates that very strange nose-up shot really well. And Kristin with the eagle bid, coming up a little low, a nice conservative effort, so she didn't have a big comeback putt.
Emily so close on a big par save putt. Kristin with the easy birdie there after the eagle attempt. Emily with a bogey, moving to +2.
Moving on to hole 13. We're out of the woods and into the wind. Right now, a tailwind, thankfully, on this par 4. There is is it a double mando? Triple mando? Or single mando?
Just a one mando.
Just a one
Just
mando.
a single.
But the trees on the left side feel like a double mando.
Sure, yes.
Because you don't want to miss or hit there or even go early of there. If you do make that gap, it's a fairly straightforward birdie.
Mm-hmm.
Most players can get up and down with a forehand, with a backhand. It's just kind of player's choice here. Henna with a crush of a drive.
Yeah, she's way down there, able to go slower speed disc into the green. A lot of times you're seeing ladies pull out fairway drivers or even full speed drivers on the second, though she misses the 20-ish foot putt for another birdie.
Yeah, that putt had some pace on it as well. She'll have a little bit of work left. This green was very windy.
No, looking a little nervy. It was very windy.
And is that her first bogey? No, second.
No.
Taking her second bogey of the round, dropping out of that tie for the lead.
Yeah, I can see why you would think it's a double mandatory.
Yeah.
And it does feel like it on the right hand backhand, but you do occasionally see like a forehand on the left side, or I wonder if Anniken's going to take that left side early gap. It takes off some distance, but I don't know. If you can get down there and still birdie.
Yeah, it makes a lot more
Yeah.
sense for the left-handed players.
That gap.
That gap. Yeah, in my brain, it's a double Mando.
And you make it every time.
I do.
Yeah, for sure. That's the
really
predominant play. Absolutely.
That was great distance from Anniken's left hand. That wind definitely helping carry the disc. Deann keeping it low, not going to mess around with any kicks, but sacrificing a lot of distance by that safe play.
Yeah, I'm not sure. She might be able to get a long look for birdie from there, but it's going to take a crush to get inside the circle. And this is a nice, solid-looking shot from Emily. Pretty typical landing zone there.
Deann going to push the OB just a teeny bit on that right side. Hyzering back, coming up short, but she is still putting from circle 2.
Yeah, solid shot from there.
This is the classic landing zone. You can see the dirt worn in.
I never know to go right like Emily's doing, or you try to curve around to the left. Like every year I want to go right and it's not quite there.
It's a nice forehand.
Yeah, it is a nice forehand. It's true. And yeah, this is largely a tailwind. Anniken going too high here.
We've all done it.
Yeah.
That
I did it today.
Tree. Yeah.
Ooh, wow. Nice technical forehand shot. Look at these branches that Kristin had to throw through. Really awkward stance.
And perfect distance.
Impressive.
Anniken forced to just lay up. I feel like this one usually plays as one of the easier holes today. Today, there were only 15 birdies, about a quarter of the field, right in the middle of the pack on difficulty.
Without wind.
Yeah.
Pretty easy.
This green was rough today.
Emily with a really nice birdie there after that bogey on the last one. Good bounce back.
Nice scramble from Kristin again.
Moving to 6 down, super clean through the last 9 holes. Moving into these final windy and difficult finishing holes. This is an amazing shot.
Mm-hmm. Standstill with that wide straddle stance, that much power is incredible. And that's going to be good enough for solo lead right now at 6 down.
Yeah, a couple stroke swing there. Hole 14 is a par 3, 303 feet. Kind of the last, I don't want to say easy birdie, but one where you really want to get this before going into the next couple of difficult holes. OB, sidewalk on the left, road on the right. The left you could find, I think, a little bit easier. It was largely a tailwind. Maybe, was there some crosswind or no?
A little bit here and there, a little left to right, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that sounds right. So you can, you see straight pushing, backhand mids or fairway drivers, even up to full drivers, maybe a baby flex. You see sidearms.
It doesn't even look windy right now.
I know. You don't usually see this straight pushing. Oh, that was so good. You usually see a bit more of a flex on the sidearm. I love that, and Kristin really gets punished with that roll away.
She lands in the classic backhand spot where you hyzer out a little too early, leave yourself a 45-footer. Emily doing a great job pushing that right side, but catches the center tree that we've all hit.
Yeah, that branch, I swear, is hanging down lower than normal. It's right in the way.
Anniken has a nice open shot. Besides that one little tiny tree, it forces her to go a little tighter than you want.
And she just needs to get around that last tree. Man, everybody finding it. Deann giving this some more width, and that's fantastic.
And even with how straightforward this hole appears, the trees are just placed so perfectly. This green is just rolly enough. That is rude.
It is rude.
That this hole plays more difficult than you'd imagine.
Yeah.
Only 15 players got to circle 1 in regulation, while 44 got to circle 2.
And 30 of those hit that tree.
Legitimately.
Kristin with a good-looking run for another birdie. Something had to slow her down. She's going to run away with it if we're not careful.
The momentum was getting insane.
Yeah. Emily unable to convert as well. Difficult putt with those branches there. Let's see if Anniken can get back to even par here. A little high. Yeah, it doesn't. It's usually a little windier on the screen. Also, usually so many people walking around distracting you in the background. That's Tournament Central right there. Deann unable to convert her birdie.
And Anniken, unfortunately, going to have to settle for the bogey with that roll away.
Kristin still with a 2-stroke lead over a large handful of other ladies.
Hole 15 is a very difficult par 4. We did not play this hole last year. We had a new hole that was at hole 16 last year. They have removed that. We've gone back to the corral hole, as we affectionately call it. It's a par 4 for us. There's a bunch of different ways that you could approach it. The main objection off the tee is to get over the drainage ditch. If you land down in that, it's almost impossible to birdie. Also, there's OB everywhere. You see a lot of players pulling out the sidearm like we see here from Jessica Weiss.
Such a good play in the tailwind.
Yeah, you just do have to have distance because you will find yourself in that. You can see that little culvert just before Jessica's shot.
Objective complete, though, there.
Mm-hmm. The mission was a success.
Mm-hmm. And forehand, not a play you typically see here, but it is going to put Jess into not quite the circle. Pretty strong left to right wind, it looks like, / tail. Oh, great putt.
Yeah, nice little jump putt.
Gives it enough air to get there. Moves to 5 down after a couple of bogeys.
Oh, and Scoggins laying 2 right here, or laying her first shot here, short of the corral.
Coming off 4 in a row.
Yeah. Oh. Let's do, I did it here last year, but I want to do it again.
Okay.
We're going to call it the boat-tailed grackle.
We do love, they are everywhere and so loud.
And what a beautiful call. They're doing their mating rituals right now as well. It's nice to see them strutting around.
Sure is.
We're watching everyone play this hole.
Ella, great putt for a birdie. Her and Owen probably regretting the full black outfits in this beating sun after you get out of the woods.
They're just flexing on everyone. It's like, no, I'm fine. What are you talking about?
I don't know. Clearly the heat got to me more than anybody else out there today. It was hot, people.
It was very warm. Kristin opting for the sidearm as well. We know she's got the distance for it.
And that's absolutely perfect. Would you expect anything else? Wait, did you talk about how the OB area is new?
No.
Yeah, we didn't really see a whole lot of people get crazy aggressive and find it, but it does give you a little bit of extra decision making off the tee, and maybe even on your second shot if you don't get off the tee very well.
Oh, the corral.
Yeah, the corral's OB.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Which is new. Emily getting over that little culvert nicely. It sounds like Madison Walker maybe didn't know that area was out of bounds. A consummate professional.
I do my job well many times, but not every time.
Anniken with a huge shot. Nice. This hole shapes up well, especially in the typical tailwind for the left-hand backhand, and she really took advantage of it.
Oh, now I'm wondering why they didn't think of this sooner. What a good change.
Yeah, it is a good change. It's well thought out. Did you know there's OB on the next one?
Yes. Thank you so much. It's a sea of stakes for anyone not understanding that was a joke. Really nice approach from Kristin. Has to push that right side OB, but trusting her disc to come back even in the cross/tailwind.
Deann throwing more of a hyzer line. Gonna leave herself about a 25-footer, maybe a little less.
Screen, I think, was also one of the more brutal greens for wind. At least I felt it here more than a lot of places. It was a lot of crosswind putts, I feel like, on this hole.
Also, another distracting one. Cars coming in.
Totally.
Where is everybody? There's no one to distract them.
I know.
Great
Where's
birdie
all the
putt.
people?
Yeah, they're out there. I swear they're out there.
This was like a sea of people.
I know.
Oh, Deann.
Really low.
Yeah, getting a little nervous there. You can see that gust of wind coming through at the same time.
Kristin for another birdie. Oh, ramps off the top. Good for the comebacker, though. Dang. Deann with a couple multiple putt errors.
Yeah.
3 putting, 4 putting.
Not normal what we see from Deann. That one was at least a confident miss.
And a nice park job there from Emily to get back to even par.
This played as the third most difficult hole of the day, even though there were 13 birdies. There were a ton of bogeys, and this was one of the most double bogeyed holes on the course today.
Bend the reality of what a disc can be and discover Ultra Soft plastic. Ultra Soft has the best grip and flex of any plastic Prodigy has ever made. Check out the entire collection today on ProdigyDisc.com or your local retailer.
Hole 16, a par 4, 609 feet, a lot of new out of bounds added. The grassy area used to be completely inbounds. Now it's less than half the width it used to be. So you kind of have to lay up here. It's maybe a 300-foot shot. And then this little fairway, air quotes, it's not really a playable or landable area. Totally a word. Typically, you're just laying up with a 300-foot shot or so, maybe 325.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to do what Henna is about to typically and kind of, she's going straight at it. A lot of ladies kind of swing out more of a hyzer shot and come into the green. There is an OB sidewalk to the right. As you get closer, you can see it right there. Henna playing this perfectly, but the elevated pin makes for some tough putting. I really felt the wind here on this green as well.
I think this was a really great change, especially for the FPO field. I like that we're having to break the shots down a little bit more. I also swear it it forces you to play golf. And like this hole, I used to get wild on.
Oh, yeah.
And you'd find yourself in weird positioning, and then you would be scrambling for even just a par.
Yeah, people would land 300 feet apart from each other.
Yeah, but
right to left.
Now that you're forced to go in this one spot, it's I find myself birdieing it. It's so weird.
Very rarely do I say, that OB edition is really good, but I actually think both are on 15 and 16. Really makes you think and play golf.
Yeah, it forces your focus, which I guess I need.
And some decent looking layups. Deann, maybe just a touch shorter than you would like, but it's good because it gives you some decision making.
Mm-hmm.
How far do you think it is just to get across the OB from where she is?
Probably 280.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Maybe a touch farther. Deann safe regardless. Emily in a little bit better position here. It's interesting though, because where you land, those little tiny trees are just in the way enough. It's hard to pin it.
Yep. Oh,
Anniken trying to turn something, but that tailwind saying nah. And a helpful tree kick to stay in bounds. Oh, forehand. I haven't seen this yet.
Wow.
So powerful.
So she put a move on that thing.
At least one. Wow.
She'll have a head/crosswind putt on this elevated basket. A little bit of a scary decision to make here. Deann with a little chip up, playing for par. Perfect.
This one used to be one of the more birdied holes, I think, but I doubt we'll see that today. Or this weekend.
Yeah, there was
generally.
only 6 birdies.
Mm-hmm. It makes you take just enough off the drive, I think. It does make you focus and play golf, but it's still a very difficult second shot. Kristin for a birdie.
I haven't been using my rangefinder, so I just have no idea how far that second shot is.
But you sure know how it feels.
I do. I birdied this one. Yay.
Nice.
But
That's a good one.
But I do know that I threw it the second shot as hard as I could. So I would say around 350 or 380 from the landing zone.
It feels risky to go too far on your drive, so you usually see people take some off there for sure. And par is a good score on the hole, as we were saying.
12 competitors got to circle 1 in regulation, 25 to circle 2, just about half the field giving themselves at least a look at birdie, but this elevated pin.
Especially in the headwind. I had like a 20-footer coming back in the headwind, and boy, was that the scariest 20-footer.
Terrifying.
Yeah. Oh, hey, there's me.
Through hole 16, Henna and Kristin tied at 6 down. 2 holes that are very scary to play, but both very birdieable.
Here we go.
Hole 17 couldn't feel any wind from the tee pad, lost a huge tree on the right, making that right side fairway a lot more viable than it's been in the past. Most players trying to get farther than where this drone turned right, trying to get past those 2 middle trees to set yourself up with a nice wide open shot. You can throw a forehand, you can throw a backhand straight shot, which is a little bit less common. I think most players are very happy if they have a forehand. The wind was left to right cross / headwind when you turn the corner. But right here, you couldn't really feel anything.
No. But sometimes when you got to where the corner is, it would just take your disc and do weird stuff with it.
Yep. Henna with a nice right finishing shot and gonna throw a just almost the exact same shot, and it's perfect.
I feel like usually this is more of a left to right wind here, and it felt like a straight headwind going down to the green.
Oh, it was like really strong left to right for my card.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. It was a headwind when I came through. It was so awful. Like slight cross, but mostly head.
Let's watch Jessica Weiss play it as well. Her forehand is a great tool to have here.
Yeah, it's a nice one. I think that's the safest shot off the tee if you have that distance.
She doesn't get the ground play you want. She's going to be tucked. She cannot see the basket here. If she wants to get aggressive, she's going to have to play it out over the water, and she does.
Wants to get aggressive for sure. Full send. Oh, she's hyped. Is she? Oh, wow. That's amazing. What a birdie to move to 6 down. Highlight second shot.
And I love seeing Henna and Jessica playing it in such wildly different ways.
Backhand, forehand. Yeah. Yeah, that is cool.
Emily coming up a little short. She's going to be tucked short from where we just watched Jessica play the hole.
Yeah, you do see some layups from there occasionally. It's very dangerous to attack from there. Anniken in a decent spot.
There's a lot of room past those 2 center trees that we see Kristin's disc heading towards. It's good to land just past them. She's close enough to them that she might still be able to work a sidearm around it, but when you land on the far side from the basket to those trees, it just takes away every option.
Oh.
Oh, no.
You don't see this play as often as you used to when there was more branches. It's viable, but I mean, high consequences. Yeah.
Especially in this wind that we have today. Emily just going to pitch something around the corner. This is a terrifying shot.
It is. And you typically see people short it. She really sent it, and in a good way. By those rocks, definitely she'll have a chance to save par from there.
Deann probably not going to bite much off here. Yep, super smart play. Another scary shot. You feel like you're always just kind of hoping it doesn't roll.
Looked like she was just playing catch with a buddy, that shot. Super smooth. Anniken set up really well for her left-hand backhand here. If she wants to get aggressive, should hang it out over the water. That's really tight.
And a very friendly kick out of the trees, but not enough to reach the water. She's got to be pleased with that. Kristin does have enough room to straddle out wide. You know she's attacking.
Oh, my. So much zip on the disc.
That's so good.
From a standstill. Wow.
Coming up just short of that OB right side that pinches in inside the circle on the right side of the green. She's going to have a little bit of a scary putt.
Is that a little closer than normal?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
It feels super pinched.
I haven't really been over there. I didn't realize. I thought it used to be in circle 2. Deann coming up pretty short there. Emily, similar story. And 17, even if you get a 5, you're like, okay, cool. I did it. Off the hole.
Yeah, the wind was absolutely raging here at times. I wish there were some flags so we could see.
I was just thinking, it looks beautiful right now, but it's definitely windy.
And there's no leaves on the trees either, so you just can't tell at all.
Yeah. What a great birdie.
That was a huge putt.
To move to 7 down.
And if that misses the basket, that's very easily finding the water.
I don't know if this is possible, but does Kristin look more confident than ever this year?
No, legitimately, her putting stance right now is looking like she can't miss.
Power stance.
Emily going to have to settle for the bogey on this one. On a hole where we can see a lot of doubles and even triples, you know, it doesn't feel great, but this is a fine one to bogey. 40% of the field bogeying 17. It's played as the most difficult hole of the day. 20% of the field with a double bogey. This one's just rough. There was 8 birdies.
It always is rough. 8 is high.
Yeah.
In a tie, Henna Bloomerus and Kristin Lott going into the final hole, hole 18. It's par 4, 468 feet. We're going to follow the layup play. OB, water on the right, obviously, and sidewalk on the left. You see some short layups with mid-ranges, fairway drivers, or even drivers to about here. We've seen more aggressive layups that go even farther, so you're more like a direct 90-degree angle from the pin, and it's a shorter layup, which is kind of nice. Typically, though, second shot, you are throwing maybe like 200 to 250 feet depending on where you land. Where Henna landed here can be really rough with the side hill and not having the footing to go across, but dang, that looks pretty dang good.
Yeah, she's a genius at this shot.
Wow.
Trickling over the water. She has a little bit of an uphill putt, but she left herself a tailwind putt, which is nice.
We do see some of the biggest throwers go across on the first shot. It's a very risky play.
But eagleable.
And Henna finishing with her own boat-tailed grackle.
And that's to go 8 down.
Jessica Weiss going across on her second. And she gets across nicely. It's so easy to go too far on this and leave yourself a really terrifying little tester putt. She's good for it. 7 down. Fantastic. Everybody.
Yeah, let's watch everyone. Owns second shot across the water coming in on a nice big hyzer angle. That wind kind of knocks it down. She's at the edge of circle. This is that terrifying putt that Erika was just talking about. She knows she's about to have to face it.
Yeah, if you had to give anyone that putt, though, to make it, Own or Kristin would be, I think, everyone's top choices.
Yeah, Own looks like there was no doubt. Let's get back to the feature card. Kristin with a little bit more of an aggressive shot than you wanted. That's a lot of ground play. That's got to be right on the line.
Ooh, yeah, it looks like it's safe. I saw a clap. This is always a fun one. Coming down the stretch, there's usually a pretty fun gallery all the way down this sidewalk. Here's kind of the more typical layup, though I think year after year, everybody does push it a little farther than we used to.
Yeah, that was a beautiful shot from Emily. I love the height on it. It's scary to put it that low because you want to give it time to come back.
It's perfect angle control and nose angle specifically.
Anniken lands right at the bottom of the hill. She might have a little bit of a elevated back foot on her approach.
And Deann putting a little too much air under it, but it looks nice and stable and should spike down, but oh, it's a friendly roll. I was going to say, that's that hillside. You really, so awkward to run down a hill and then try to throw across a fairly large body of water.
Anniken first. You can see the downhill run up doesn't. Oh, that's a nice left turn on that shot.
It really is.
Coming
Gorgeous.
in deep, and she's going to be on the edge of the circle with that scary putt. Thankfully, a tailwind putt.
That was so well done.
Kristin coming in from out of bounds right off the sidewalk.
This guy with the Crocs is way too close to her.
Oh, what a shot.
That looks fantastic.
That wind really kicking up right before she throws.
Wow. Deann in kind of an ideal position here. And yeah, she executes that second shot so well. Emily from similar distance.
A really perfect drive.
Man, it's so nice to be able to go mid-range here on this
Yeah,
second shot. When you have to pull out a faster one, you're like, oh.
Please no.
Uh-oh. Decision time here. I think layup.
Yep. That's a smart play.
Bit of a tough round for Anniken. It happens. Ooh. Man, that's kind of the... I guess there was some missed putts earlier in the round, but first one in a while. Still a great round from Kristin. Should secure her lead card, obviously.
Nice little bounce back finish from Deann. Birdie after that double bogey. Emily with a tap in birdie to finish her round. Also a great bounce back.
Ending at even par. We'll see where that shakes out in the scores here in a moment. Kristin almost able to tie Henna, who shot the 8 down.
Only one bogey on the day. And
wow,
that 8 down's going to hold Jessica Weiss, Kristin, and Owen Scoggins going to wrap up our lead card for day 2 at the Waco Annual Charity Open.
Looks like there's a hot goose in the top 10 there.
Woo! Honk. Yeah, it looks like under par was what you had to do to be in the top 10. But as Waco typically shows, the FPO has a lot of clumping.
Yeah.
Everyone's gathered
Scores
together.
are tight.
Yes, there is not a lot of separation because everyone can birdie everything. And I think we'll continue to see that. It's supposed to cool off a little as the weekend goes on. The wind's supposed to go down a little. It's going to be a nice spring weekend. Here.
We love a nice spring weekend.
We sure do. Don't forget, we're getting close to 500,000
Yes.
subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
And if you would like to, please subscribe.
Yeah, and like.
And like,
Well done.
yeah, turn on the alerts.
Please, for us. For you. For everyone.
We'll just honk to that. Wrap it up. Thanks to the Founders Club. We got 2 more rounds this weekend. I'm Madison Walker.
I'm Erika Stinchcomb. We're the 2 hot geese.
Honk.
Honk.
Sunshine, get up on my body, know that truly I feel fine. Get up, watch your body, and I feel that sunshine. Get up on my body, know that truly I feel fine.